everyone, and welcome back to the Little Miss Funeral YouTube channel. I'm really excited about today's video because it's going to be another book review. And the book that I'm reviewing today is My Father's Wake, How the Irish Teach Us to Live, Love, and Die by Kevin Toulis. I was sent this book and I was so excited to read it once I received it. Kevin really wastes no time getting down to the nitty-gritty. The book opens up with Sonny Toulis, who's Kevin's father, actively dying, and Kevin going back to the rural village within Ireland in which he grew up to be with his family and be with his father as he was dying. Within the first couple of chapters, he even makes the reader face their own mortality by estimating their own death date. If you do not like books on death, you will not like this book whatsoever. Kevin goes on to explain his own personal experience with death at a very young age when he was very ill, and then goes on to explain how his brother's death when Kevin was a very young man drastically impacted his life. After his brother's death, Kevin got a job as a reporter where he would go to countries that was filled with war and disease and interview people who lost loved ones from all different kinds of deaths. I found this so interesting because it seemed like Kevin was just searching for any answer that he could about death. But what he really found was that every single culture looks at death differently. He talks about the Western death machine, which is basically my culture over here in the United States, and how we often put a veil over death and dying, how we really don't want to be a part of it, and we hire people to take care of our dead with funeral directors and funeral homes, how our dead often die alone in hospitals, and how we kind of have this mentality where if we don't see it, it hasn't happened. He talks about how people within these countries that are filled with war and disease have to look at death very differently because it is such an everyday occurrence for them. And then he talks about the Irish and his father's passing and how they really have a sense of community and how they come together to take care of their own. The thing that I love the most about this book is how important community is to the Irish when a person passes away. How they really come together to be with the person as they are actively dying and to watch over them to make certain that they're not alone. Kevin then goes on to explain how his father really was an ordinary man, but how he was able to be around death from such a young age, going to wakes and seeing how people die. And because death was such a familiar part of his life, when his time came and he was diagnosed with an illness, he was able to accept his fate and die with dignity. His father didn't want to die, but he knew how to. Kevin is an amazing writer. He's able to share his own personal experiences throughout his life and make the reader feel as if they are actually there witnessing everything with them. And somehow he's still able to write with poetry, making these horrible times seem beautiful in this odd way. I was talking with my husband before filming this video and I told him that I wanted to make certain I was doing a proper review. So he had told me, well, just think of a couple of things that you liked about the book and then think about a couple of things that you didn't like about that book. And honestly, I cannot think of something that I did not like about My Father's Wake. Once again, it's a book that is completely about death and dying. But the way that Kevin writes is so beautiful and so easy to read. It's hard to put this book down. And it was very interesting for me to see how other cultures deal and accept death. For the small rural village in Ireland, death is just a part of life. And by having death be a part of your life, it really teaches you how to live and how to love those within your lives more. If we all can just take a deep breath and accept the fact that we're going to die and that people that we love are going to die, we can better understand how to live our lives to the fullest. And when those people within our lives do die, we can know how to properly honor and care for them ourselves. I highly recommend picking up a copy of this book, and if you're interested, I will put a link for it in the description bar below. And I also want to thank Kevin for sending me a copy of it. Honestly, I have not enjoyed a book this much in a long time. If you've read My Father's Wake, I'm very interested to hear what you all have to say about it. So put what you thought about it in the comments below. If you like this video, you can always give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any videos that I put out in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.